Well, it's that time of year again. Or actually, that time of year was about 4 months ago. I'm a little behind the 8 ball on this one here this year. Get my wood in. I like to have it done in April, May. But here it is, almost August. Or it's August tomorrow, I guess. So a little behind, but fortunately here, a lot of my wood here is dead elm. We get Dutch elm disease here, and that you know, the elms they don't get too big before they die, and then it makes great firewood. You know, once they die, they're standing on a stump, like this here, big old piece of dead elm. So I've been burning that. Got to split that. So I get tired of the old splitter here, and I said, well, I'm gonna, you know, I googled it or whatever, watched some YouTube videos and stuff of people putting wood splitters on their excavator. Now there was two ways of going about it. You could take basically your old log splitter, take the ram, need a new tarp here, take your ram and your bar and all that off, and just weld up a bracket, flip that upside down, pin it to where the bucket will go here, and then pipe it into your thumb. And then you basically be using your log splitter upside down on the end of the machine. You wouldn't have to pick the logs up and all that. And then there's another guy or two, or a couple guys I saw on there that they made a split and wedge and everything, right, for the wedge went onto the thumb, and like a push plate went onto the pinned on where the bucket was. And there's a company, I looked into it, this, that, the other thing. They want $2 grand for it, you know, for a setup like that. So I said, you know, and I plunked $2 grand down without knowing if it was going to work or not. So I went and made up for about, I don't know, $200 worth of steel. This is the setup, and this thing's it's heavy, but we'll get it over here and show you what we got. And this one I might put the camera down for this, but let's see. Oh, maybe not. I'll just grunt and swear, curse, and all that. Let's get it here. Here we go. Oh, I bet that's heavier than you think. So anyway, there's the setup. So this piece here, took some 1/2-inch plate and welded some, I forget what that rod is, inch and a quarter, I believe, steel rod onto it, a couple spots, and put this little bracket on the top to hold it, so this thing slides up into the thumb. I welded on took a piece of 3/4, or no, inch and, I don't know, inch or inch and 1/8 or something like that. Welded it onto the bottom of this plate. So this gets bolted on. I just drilled some holes there. Put this piece on the top. So this thing slides right over the thumb, and I'll show you in a second here. With these round rods, go right up into the teeth of the thumb. And that prevents it from going back and forth. That's the original design there on my own. A lot of those ones I saw, or at least the one I saw for sale for $2 grand on there, had a couple different bracket kind of setup. But and then on the push thing here, I just took some 1 3/4 bar or rod, and welded that onto, this is 1/2 inch or 5/8, I can't remember. This is 5/8 on the sides, and I just took some old piece of 1 inch something, welded that on to push against. I could pop this, it's just a bolt, I didn't get around to cutting off on there, sticking out. So anyways, that pushes the log through the splitter. So I'll hook it up here and show you. It doesn't, I messed around with it on these big pieces like this here. You ain't splitting that with this thing. That's got to go through the log splitter, the old school. Something like this here, it'd split it no problem. Obviously drier wood splits harder, and I had a couple pieces. I had a piece of cherry here that I tried to split, and didn't want to do it either. And it was dry, and it wasn't very big around. But the problem with this setup is the piston for the thumb is relief. It's got, you know, the relief is set on it. The relief pressure is set, so the bucket will curl the thumb, because this pin here that goes through your stick there is drilled to let the grease out, you know, to run the grease into these bearings or bushings, and so that weakens it. And so if this was just as strong as a bucket, you end up snapping this. And that actually happened to a buddy of mine. He snapped the pin in there because his relief pressure wasn't either set right, and that was right from the factory on a Bobcat 85. So anyways, this relief pressure, so when you're pushing on the log, what happens is it just starts pushing the thumb up. So if it gets too big, once it reaches a certain amount of pressure on it, so it's not ideal setup for, and it probably, I'll try a few of these here and maybe you can see this one here. I mean, that's, you know, we'll see if they go. If they do, they do. They don't, I run them through the log splitter the old way. But I'll throw a few of these out on the ground here. Maybe we can get them to go. Maybe not. And you know, I think, and I haven't tried it, I got to get some green wood. But I think if I have some green wood splits easier. So we'll try it with some green wood and see if they split easier. But this is elm. Elm's, you know, green elm, forget it. You know, it's nasty, nasty crap. And even once it's dead and dry, you know, it's I don't know if it's exactly cross-grained, but the fibers are just like interwoven and locks together. See if I can find a piece in the pile here that's, some of it just comes out and looks like it's been through a shredder rather than a splitter. Well, I don't know. I don't see any right off the top of my head that are real bad, but it happens. So anyways, elm's tough wood to split. But I'm gonna set this camera down, and I'm gonna show you this thing bolts on pretty easily. So we'll bolt it up, and we'll see if we can split maybe a couple logs here. By the way, I love the quick connect, hydraulic quick connect on the Yanmar here. It's easy. The pin, you know, the safety pin that you got to turn here. This jobby here, you know, for safety it's good, but other than that, it's a pain in the ass. You have to, otherwise you wouldn't even have to hop in and out. But anyways, I love the hydraulic quick cut. Boy, it works pretty good. I got a whopping 25 hours on here, so this is I've been doing that other job and doing other things, and haven't got to run this much. But so we'll bolt this on, or I'll bolt it on. really that simple. So there you have it. There's the push. There's the push plate and the wedge. I have this so that when this closes, the bottom edge of this is almost, it's probably about a ½ inch or inch away from the wedge up here. So you can get a pretty good full stroke on the log. So you can see how the pipe or the rod fits up into the groove of the thumb. That just locks it in. This is basically, all this is basically doing is keeping this tight to there. So all your pressure should be on the teeth of the thumb, holding it, you know, from sliding backwards. And I didn't crank the crap out of these. And if you look, you can probably, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but you can see just a slight bow in the steel. And that's ½ inch steel, 4 inch wide. But you can see just a slight bow in it, but it seems to, you know, it doesn't seem to have a problem holding it. Bolts, like I said, you know, the relief pressure in this piston, you know, the piston releases before any of this would ever break off anyways. But we'll set this camera down and maybe you can see if I can get a good spot to set this down, and you can see how it works here. So that's impressive, huh? This chunk elm, dried elm, what is that, 6-7 inch in diameter? It won't split it. The relief pressure stops and you know, blows before it'll split it. It's rugged stuff. Let's try a piece of cherry or something, so we know that's not gonna work. This is a super dry piece of elm. You can see the difference. This piece of elm, this should go. I mean, it's half rotted, you know. I mean, that should go. We got a piece of cherry here. Let's try that. It's got some knots in it. Cherry's pretty rugged tool. Not as rugged as elm. I don't have much else to demonstrate here on. Got an old chunk of maple here, maybe. It's short, but we'll try these. We'll put one there. One there. You know, like the other thing is, I guess you got to have the thumb kind of up so you can see where you're putting the plate on. because if you got the thumb down, you can't see, and it's pain in the neck. So let's try this and see if let's see if we can't get something here to go. So there you have it. It did about a 4-inch piece of dead elm that was 3/4 rotted. So that split no problem. I'll put that in a good pile. Anything bigger than that, it just won't do, you know. Elm. This piece of cherry, it did okay until it hit the knots, and then it just kind of blew apart and didn't want to squeeze it the rest of the way. So that's got to go through this big splitter. So I wouldn't, you know, I don't think I'd waste my money, spend $2 grand buying something online that, you know, this is a 55 size machine. I wouldn't even think of 80. Maybe for 80 size it might have a little more, but you're still gonna have that relief issue on the thumb. So I would probably and you know, I just wanted to see if this was, you know, if it would do it, and you know, and whatever, before I plunk down $2 grand or you know, save myself whatever by doing it this way. I think I got 150 or something into steel here, plus my time, a couple hours welding and cutting and messing around. But I think a lot of that stuff that you see online where they're splitting, it's not, you know, it's not old dead elm, it's not maple, it's not, You know, it's like green wood in the fresh cut in the middle of the winter, and it's cold and it just snaps, you know. Or it's like birch, or you know, something that's gonna split easy no matter what. So don't waste your money. Not on a 55 size machine buying one of these, a mechanical splitter for an excavator. I think that, you know, what I might do at some point, not this year, because I need my wood splitter obviously to get the rest of my pile going here. I got about 1.5 cords there, and maybe another 1/2 cord on the ground here, and I got a cord in the shed, and I probably still need about another 2 cords or something, or 1.5 cords. But I think, you know, later on, I think I'm going to pull the ram off this wood splitter and pin it right to the, do it the other way, pin it right to the, where the bucket would be on the stick here, and then plumb it into that and use the actual hydraulics of the machine to, we'll try it that way and see how that goes. So there you have it. We'll see you, bye.